What's up, guys? My name is Vanguard Gamer, and today I'm in Prodigy's channel. He's giving me the opportunity to show you guys my Magic Dragonknight. It's one of my favorite Magic Dragoknights to date. I have to say that I've actually never played with a better balanced Magic DK than this Magic Dragonknight. I'm gonna give you a fair warning. If you're looking for a tank Dragonknight, that is not what this is. This is not a Dragonknight that's just gonna take a lot of hits and never die and just do no damage whatsoever and just be very, very good with resources. That's not what this is. This is a 1vx damage dealing machine. This will destroy and obliterate anyone that stands in front of it. This Dragonknight is specifically built to go toe to toe with Templars, our hardest to kill opponents. Cleanse is broken. Basically, this is what this Dragonknight is. If you want that type of Dragonknight, that's what this is. Not a high damage taking DK that does 0 damage whatsoever. That's not what this is. This is basically a 1vx build. And let's get right into the skills. Let's get right into everything. I don't want to waste your time. We're going to go into our inventory, and I have 5 Silk of the Sun, Master Restoration Staff, 2 Valcom Scoria, Head and Shoulders, and 5 Krakenak's Hope. Now, what can you substitute Silk of the Sun for? Burning Spellweave. What can you substitute the Master Restoration Staff? A VMA Restoration Staff. What can you substitute Valcom Scoria? Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn's a good substitute. What can you substitute Krakenak's Hope? Desert Rose. Desert Rose is a good substitute. Do the necklace and rings have to be gold? Not really. Purple is perfectly fine. The enchantment on the sword has to be sharpened, and I have a weapon and spell damage enchantment. That is crucial. It has to be like that. On the Master Restoration Staff, it's got to be defending, and it has to have a poison on the back. A lot of people are going to say, why do you use poisons in your back bar? I'm going to tell those people, why not? It's open world. You're trying to kill people. Some people have way too much sustain. Tanks have too much sustain. Templars have too much sustains. Healers have too much sustains. If you're not using this, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage on purpose. That's just not smart to me. And the shield, guys, mine is reinforced. You're gonna see that multi-effect enchanted. Every single thing I have is multi-effect enchanted. By the way, it's reinforced. You can also have a sturdy shield. That sturdy is perfectly fine. My favorite trait is reinforced. You're gonna see that I have 2 sturdy, 1 reinforced, 5 impenetrable. In my opinion, that is best in slot. So we're gonna go here, and you're gonna see that my helmet is sturdy, and then my waist is sturdy, but then everything else except my shield is impenetrable. So I have 5 impen, 2 sturdy, 1 reinforced, and the reinforced is key that the shield is reinforced, but you can also have it sturdy. That's perfectly fine. So you can have 3 sturdy, 5 impen. That's perfectly fine. I recommend a reinforced just for that little extra bit, man. We're trying to get the most we possibly can. For the helmet and the body, everything in the body, basically everything's multi-effect enchanted. If you don't know what these pieces do, by the way, Silk of the Sun basically gives you max health, max magicka, spell damage, and spell damage. The Master Restoration Staff basically just gives you a little bit more magicka on your back bar, which is really, really good. Vacuum Scoria gives you max health again. When you deal damage, you have a chance of proccing it. Then it deals a little bit area damage, and it also deals an initial damage to your target, which is really good. And Kragnak's Hope, it gives you max magicka, magicka recovery, max health, and it also gives you a little bit more spell damage. Along with when you revive people, it's faster, and it gives you magicka back, which is really good for team play. Now, something key that I don't know that most people actually notice is that the fact that we actually, every single one of our pieces gives us at least 1 health. Our Sun gives us 1 health, our Scoria gives us 1 health, our Krags gives us 1 health. The reason why is because if you look at our health, we need to be at around 24-25k. The reason for that is because the goal for the health is about 30k. Depending on what campaign you are, if you have Emperorship, it might be a little bit higher than that. So we went through over our inventory. Let's go over our skills really quickly. Engulfing Flames is crucial. It deals damage over time, also increases our damage by 10%. Inner Light, this is our front bar, by the way. Inner Light basically gives us more crit, increases our max magicka, really, really good. Also, when you're fighting against Nightblades, you can get them out of stealth quite fast. Just animation cancel that Inner Light the minute they go stealth. Burning Talents, really, really good. Damage over time. It's, in my opinion, it hits harder than Cow Traps. It's ridiculous. It's beautiful. And then while enemies are held, your friends can activate the Impale to deal an extra 6,000 magic damage. It's just really, really good for team play. It's bread and butter of the DK. Burning Embers does significant damage over time, plus also heals us when we second proc it. Flame Lash deals an insane amount of damage. Also gets people off balance, so that then you can get the off balance damage. Really, really, really big. I have a rotation build video. I highly recommend you see that on my channel. That rotation build video will explain every single one of the skills in detail and why I have them the way I have them. Ferocious Leap deals an insane amount of damage. Also gives you a little damage shield. I do have to warn you though, when you do Ferocious Leap, you have to know that your shield won't activate until you hit your initial target, not before you hit your initial target. So let's say you're at 1% health and the Nightblade's at 1% health, or the Sorcerer's at 1% health, and you do the Ferocious Leap. Know that if they hit you with a light attack first, you will die, because you don't get the shield until you actually hit your target. A lot of people make that mistake. I don't know why. On your back bar, we have a Restoration Staff. Why a Restoration Staff? Why not Sword and Board and Sword and Board? The reason why is because Restoration Staff is bread and butter. It is what's best in slot for a Dragonknight. And again, you're going to just be making yourself weaker on purpose, and I don't really understand why. Lights Champion is my bread and butter. When I'm 1vxing, Lights Champion comes through for me more times than anything else in the world. Usually when I'm 1vxing, what I'll do is I'll kill one person. I'll get 20 ultimate from that. You get the 20 ultimate when you kill a person from your assault tree, I believe. Combat Frenzy, you generate 20 ultimate when you kill an enemy. So I'll kill one person with my first ultimate, right? Because I'll use my front ultimate as execute. Then I'm getting hit by 3 or 4 more people. I do a couple light attacks and heavy attacks in between my rotation, and by that time I switch bars and I do a healing word and I switch bars. I can easily just pop that ulti and stay alive, and then go on the offensive again. Kill the next person, do the same thing, stay alive again, kill the next person, do the same thing, stay alive again. And it's beautiful. That's why we're using the Restoration Staff ulti, and it's got to be very specifically the Lights Champion ultimate. Fossilize. Fossilize is our major CC, as Burning Talents was our minor CC, or soft CC. This is our hard CC. Basically, it deals a good amount of damage, by the way, as well. And when you fossilize somebody, it's got like a second snare to it, that when they break free out of it, let's see if we can break them free. when they break free out of it, you see that they're still like kind of like snare for a little bit. That's really good for 1vxing. Flames of Oblivion, this is really good because it's a damage over time, and I believe it also increases our crit on the back bar, just like Inner Light increases our crit in the front bar. This increases our crit in the back bar, plus gives us that little damage over time. For open world and 1vxing, I sometimes change this to Elusive Mist. That's perfectly viable. For dueling, I however leave it as Flames of Oblivion because you're only fighting one person, so you know you don't have to run away. You have Healing Ward here, and a lot of people are going to say, why not switch Healing Ward to Dragon Blood? The reason why we're not switching Healing Ward for Dragon Blood is because Dragon Blood is inferior. I have never, I will repeat this, I have never, not one time in my entire Elder Scrolls career, and again, in case I didn't mention it, I've been playing the Magic DK for, hold on, 147 days, 9 hours, 3 minutes, and 56 seconds. And I have never lost to a person that had Dragon Blood in their bar. Not one time. It just doesn't happen. People that have Dragon Blood are inferior to this playstyle. They just are. The reason why is the animation's too slow. You can crit on Dragon Blood, whereas you can't crit on Healing Ward, and the Healing Ward in Dragon Blood at low health gives you the exact same healing. I tested it out. I've done a lot of trials and error, and Healing Ward is just superior. Above all, the animation's a little bit faster, not insanely faster, but a little bit faster. Plus, you can't crit on it, and it gives you almost the exact same heal. I think Healing Ward is a little bit lower, but not significantly, considering the fact that you can't crit on it. Structure Entropy, you can also change this to the other one. I don't know why I have it Structure Entropy. I just always had it, so I just kept it that way. It gives you major sorcery, but the biggest reason why we have this is basically, in our rotation, we tend to power up either Engulfing Flames or we power up our spikes, depending on where our rotation is. So we tend to do that quite often. That's why we have Inner Light there, and it's really good because it will significantly increase your DPS throughout the whole fight. I cannot stress this enough. It is very useful. The reason why it increases your DPS significantly is because you get not only do you get major sorcery, but you also get the empowerment, 20% more damage with your next ability, and that volatile armor or engulfing is really crucial. It makes a big difference. Volatile armor, by the way, gives us spell resistance and physical resistance for 20 seconds, deals an insane amount of magic damage over time. While active, the armor also returns a significant amount of damage to melee attackers. So basically, when you have both your spikes and your burning talents, it's kind of like having the equivalent of two, what's the closest thing to this? I believe the closest thing to it is cow traps. So it's kind of like having two cow traps down on the floor that follow you all around at all times, basically. That's what it kind of is. Against stamina users. Against magic users, it's a little bit lower, but not significantly. So that's basically the front bar and the back bar. I also change my ulti every now and then, either to Shooting Star when I think completely like outnumbered. Soul Assault if you're going against a Nightblade or a Stamp Sorcerer. Soul Assault is best in slot because the Stamp Sorcerer is gonna run away. Soul Assault will destroy that ability or that strategy, and Nightblades will go stealth. But if you look at the Soul Assault, enemies affected by this ability are revealed for 2 seconds and may not enter stealth or invisibility for those 2 seconds. So let's say a Nightblade's really low on health, that's usually when they're gonna go stealth and heal for that crit heal on stealth. They're not gonna be able to do that, baby. They are gonna die, and that's very crucial because usually you could do a Soul Assault and get closer to them as you're doing it, and then keep on your DPSing. They won't be able to go to stealth. If you're playing in a group, I highly recommend Standard of Might. It's really good. If you're playing solo, just trying to have fun, Ferocious Leap works every single time. Lights Champion on our back bar is not, and I cannot stress this enough, Lights Champion can never be removed from your back bar. This is bread and butter ability that we're talking about. It's just too good. Don't touch it. Don't play with it. Just leave it the way it is. I cannot stress this enough. It is the best thing that ever happened to the Magic Dragonknight, and it's not even in our skill bar. If you're going against sorcerers, let's say you're going against sorcerers, magic night blades, I highly recommend changing your inner light for, sorry, I don't know why I did that. Changing your inner light for reflective plate. Now, some people are going to tell me, why reflective plate and not the other morph for reflective plate? The reason why is basically because this morph gives us a minor ward, increasing your spell resistance for 23 seconds, which is very, very long time, by the way. It also reflects things back, but the way the dragon scales works is basically it increases your damage done backwards. We're talking about the other morph of this. And why this morph is better is because this gives you resistance at all times, and you're going to see that if we happen to proc our back bar and do the wings, we're standing at 33,859 spell resistance. We're past cap. At that point, we're past cap, basically. And sometimes I don't always do my spikes, and that little extra really comes in clutch for me, and it helps out. And the way the other morph works, basically, both morph actually, whatever hits you for a certain amount, and that amount then you get thrown back at that person. So the reason we have this one is because whatever hits us, let's say a frag hits us for, like, you know, 1k. If that frag hits us for 1k and then goes back to that person, it goes back to that person for 1,300 or about, and it's just not doing a significant amount of damage. It's a little bit more DPS on your part, but it's not a significantly more amount of damage. I rather have the extra resistance just in case I'm going to get hit by another person. Again, when I'm 1vxing, I'm going up against multiple people. They might have more than one person that's magic, and this will help me out more in the long term. That's why I have this one, but for the most part, I don't actually put it on. I tend to have inner light on more times than not, and I also tend to have elusive mist more times than not. However, against magic night blades, magic sorcerers, I highly recommend it because it makes a very big difference. It'll turn the tide towards you. So we went over our skills, we went over our passives. We haven't done yet, so I'll go right down the list really quickly. You're gonna notice that we are a dark elf. We are using heavy armor passives and light armor passives, and we're using the last two of the medium armor passives. Ledgerman, very important. The Ledgerman's important because I am a vampire stage 4. Let's see if we can go stealth really quickly. Detected. I don't know why I'm detected, but okay. Cinemax. You're gonna see that I can kind of like run in stealth, and this is very, very huge, and I don't waste that much stamina when I run in stealth. That is crucial for us. We really, really want to be able to do this. This is crucial for us. So that's what we have, the Ledgerman, and we also have Vampirism stage 4. We're Vampire 10. Fighter's Guild, Banish the Wicked, important for ultimate regen. Mage's Guild, everything. Undaunted, obviously. Assault, support. We are a Dark Elf. Dark Elf is best in slot. If you don't have Dark Elf, High Elf is really good. There are other Dragonites that make it work with like an Argonian or like other races, but I highly recommend either Dark Elf, High Elf, and then everything. You can make it work with other races, it's just Dark Elf is the best in slot. Alchemy, I highly recommend just having medical use, and then provisioning, I highly recommend having Connoisseur or Gourmand. Those are both really good. For food, we are using Witch Mother's Potent. This gives us Magicka Recovery, Max Magicka, and Max Health. We're also using Boon the Atronach for more Magicka Recovery. As I said, stage 4 Vampirism. It's good. We have 54 into Magicka for our attributes and 10 into Stamina. You could probably just put everything into Magicka. That's perfectly fine. I just happen to like it this way more than anything. We're gonna have to power up, so I'm gonna have to go back over to those test dummies really quickly. You're gonna want to know what our spell damage is fully buffed, and I'll show you right now. Keep in mind that as a Dark Elf, we do get an extra 6% flame damage. So Dark Elf, we get an extra. There you go. We get 7% increased flame damage with being a dark elf. And also keep in mind, in our inventory, our sun gives us 400 spell damage to your flame damage ability. That does not show on our bar, so we don't see that. We don't see that 7%. We don't see the 400 spell damage. With that said, we're going to power up right now. Let me show you what I am fully buffed. We're sitting at spell damage 2,232, again without that 7% or the 400 extra. Our spell resistance is 32,539, which is a cap. Physical resistance 26,000. Critical resistance is at 15. 15 is exactly where you want it. 15 is babe. Trust me where I say 15 is exactly where you want it. Again, spell damage buffed is 2,232. Magical recovery is at 1,500, which is really good. Stamina recovery is at 565. I tend to block quite a bit. Stamina recovery is useless to me. I get my stamina recovery either from light and heavy attacks, or whenever I do basically whenever I do burning, I do a light attack burning. When I do a lash, I do a heavy attack lash. Wait till it's all the way. Hold on, I gotta do this slowly. You have to wait for your heavy to go all the way back. No, that's not what I wanted. There, and then do the lash right there. It's really hard to do it when you do it slow. Oh my god. Basically, you do a light burning and a heavy lash, and you get your stamina back, so you don't have to worry about stamina recovery at all. And then you also get a stamina when you do your ultimate. You also get stamina when you get use fossilize. So fossilize gives us stamina, your ultimate gives us stamina, your heavy attack with lash gives us stamina, your potions gives you stamina. So you basically don't have to worry about stamina. Being in heavy armor also gives us stamina. Where are you? Heavy armor, constitution. It gives us a little bit of stamina and magicka back. So you get a lot of stamina sources from different places, so you don't really have to worry about stamina. We went through our skills, character. Our spell critical is sitting at 32,000, I wish. 32%, and that's really good. You can also increase this, but I think 32% is really all you need. Trust me when I say you hit extremely hard, 32% will do. Stamina, maximum stamina sitting at 15,461, and that's really good. Our maximum health is sitting at 24,418. I wish that was a little bit higher, but that's really good where it is right now. Maximum magicka is 34,538, and that is perfect. You don't need more than that. I kid you not. 34,000. It also goes a little bit higher if you switch to ultimate, by the way. Like if you were to put a shooting star, it should be like 35 instead of 34. It goes up by like 500, therefore increasing your DPS a little bit more. It's just you got to play a little bit more wiser with the ulti. Let me see if I can change this. It'll let me change it eventually. There we go. You just got to play a little bit smarter, but this does increase your DPS, not significantly, but a little bit. You'll see that it goes up, maximum magicka to 35,000. It depends on the situation though, what ultimate you're using, what skills you're using, things of that sort. Better stats, better numbers don't always equate to you winning. So sometimes I win against people with much lower numbers than what you're seeing right now, because I do change my setup up depending on who I'm fighting, and by setup I mean skills, as I mentioned earlier in the video. We went through our passives, we went through our attributes, food, Wonderstone. The only thing we haven't done yet is our champion points. For champion points, we have Ironclad 56, Spell Shield 56, Resistance 8, we have Thick Skin 37, Hardy 19, Elemental Defender 19, Heavy Armor 15, Warlord 23, Sprinter 3, Tenacity 43, Arcanist 75, Mooncalf 3, We have Shadow Ward 61, Tumbling 2, Elfborn 23, Elemental Expert 43, Spell Roshan 39, Shattering Blows 23, Master at Arms 7, Thaumaturge 75. And this, by far, by the way, guys, I know a lot of people say that they're not good at champion point settings. The way I set up my champion points, I cannot stress this enough. This is the best champion point settings that you could possibly get with the Magicka DK. At the moment, I have not seen anybody that has a better setup than me with this specific build. For this specific build, the settings that I have right now will give you the absolute most bang for your buck. Keep in mind also that sometimes I do some things specifically for the passives. For example, we're going to go over here. We have 120. That way we can get the reinforced. That's very crucial. So you have to keep in mind that it's not only what you're seeing, the spell shield, but also the passives for the champion points tree. That makes a very big difference in your overall DPS and sustain. And you should never forget that. Again, here it's another example, Field Physician. I just wanted that, so I made sure I had enough in there. Here in this one we have 105, that way we can get the Foresight. We don't really need the Arcane Well. When you kill an enemy, you have a 20% chance to restore Magicka for up to 3 friendly targets within 2.5 meters. This is good, but you're going to be missing out on a lot of other things. For example, here we got 30 for the Reposit and Repost. This is very crucial because we're blocking a significant amount, and it's going to increase your DPS. So do keep in mind that when it comes to champion points, I thought of everything, literally everything. So that's our skills, that's our character. We went through everything, our passives, our champion points, our attributes, and that's our Magicka DK. I'm going to be putting a clip video either in the beginning of the video or at the end of the video or in both. Hopefully you guys like this video.